Hey everybody, and thanks for joining me on my channel, Outside with Jeff. Today we're going to talk about how to build your soil in the absolute easiest way possible. We're going to use a technique called composting in place. Well, what's composting in place, you might ask? Well, most gardeners know what composting is. It's simply taking your kitchen waste, paper products, things like that, putting them in a big pile along with yard waste, grass clippings, allowing it to break down, allowing organisms, insects, critters, different things to come in and break that material down back into a garden supplement, soil that you can then incorporate into your garden and really help build the organic matter and the fertility of your soil. Well, composting in place uses the same principles, only instead of putting all your compost in a separate pile, allowing it to break down, and then bringing it to your garden, you actually compost in your garden. Now, I don't recommend doing this during the growing season because you're going to be introducing possible critters you're going to want to dig while you're actually trying to grow your plants. However, in the off season, if you don't have pets of your own, I think it's a great idea. Now, this is kind of a lazier way to compost. I still have my traditional compost pile, but since this bed's going to be dormant this off season, I'm not going to be growing any garlic or any cold crops in this particular bed. It's a great time to go ahead and help build the fertility while allowing the soil to lay dormant. So what we're going to do is we're going to simply dig a shallow hole, and we're going to put some garden waste, some leftover fall decorations. We've got some eggshells and a cardboard egg container. We're just going to bury that right in that location. And then in order to mark the areas that I've already planted compost in, I simply take one of my tomato cages and I lay it right over the top. That's going to help prevent a lot of your cats and dogs, which I have a fenced in yard, so I don't have to worry about the dogs as much as the cats. But squirrels and different things might try to come in and dig these things up. This really prevents or deters a lot of that. So let's get right into it. I'm going to show you this easy, simple way to help build your soil fertility by composting in place. We'll start with, you need a shovel and you need whatever you're going to bury to be adding to your compost. Now, it is middle of November. I won't be planting anything here until mid to late March at the earliest. This is my potato bed. So that gives us until middle of December, middle of January, middle of February, middle of March. So we're gonna have 4 months to allow these things to compost in place. As you can see, I currently have some leaves. I'm just gonna pull those leaves to the side, just like that. I'm just gonna dig a hole. I like to go about 1 shovel's depth, approximately. Kind of dig a trench, kind of pull it away. Got some nice black soil in here. And then I'm simply gonna throw these items in here. Now what's gonna happen is your worms, your different organisms, bugs, roly-poly bugs, different things like that, they're gonna come in and they're going to start eating that produce, that paper product, the eggshells, and breaking them down and feeding the soil. Because when those worms come in, they're going to produce waste, which is going to be fertilizer for your next crops. Now this one, we actually have food scraps, banana peels, we got some oatmeal in there, some corn, some tomatoes. Looks like there's half a baked potato in there. This is about 2 days worth of kitchen waste. Same thing. I'm gonna bring that soil back over, cover it up, just like that. By covering it up with about 8 to 10 inches of soil, you're going to prevent any odor. I'm just going to kick these leaves back over because those will also compost as we get rainfall and snowfall. Those leaves will compact into the soil, and then this spring comes and I'll actually till those in. Now in order to mark my spot, I've got a tomato cage here I'm just going to bring that over, get it unhung here real quick. Just set that tomato cage right there. So then the next time I come and compost in place, I'll just dig my next row right there. It's a good idea. I usually leave, I just dug that row and I got this tomato tray. So my next row of compost is not going to butt up right against that row. It's going to be probably about a foot apart. So you have items composting and then about a foot of soil. And then I'll have items composting, a foot of soil, items composting, so on and so forth. Now I mentioned we're in the middle of November. I'll be planting this bed in March. So right now I got about 4 months. I want to make sure I at least allow in these colder temperatures a good 3 months. So I want to have this bed that I'm going to plant in March fully composting by the middle of December. Now my summer beds that I won't plant until May, I can continue to do this process up until February because the temperatures will be a little bit warmer come April and March. The soil temperatures will be warmer, so therefore the things will be composting a little bit quicker than they will be in December and January. So something you might want to start putting in place in your garden. If you find that you want to compost, you have a garden area, but you don't have enough of an area to actually set up a compost bed, this would be a great thing for you to start doing, especially if you don't have pets. If you do have pets, another option is after you bury this, you could lay a sheet of plywood, a piece of scrap carpet, anything that keeps the larger critters from digging in and making a mess in your scraps would work. Whether it be an old piece of fencing, like an old fence panel, a few boards, like I said, an old piece of carpet, an old piece of chain link fence, anything like that. Just something to keep the dogs and cats from digging in the garden. Our latest pet passed away last February, so we no longer have a built-in, a digger that's going to go outside and dig in the gardens and whatnot. So the only thing we have to worry about is neighborhood cats and squirrels. They don't really pose much of a inconvenience when that really comes to that, so I'm not really too concerned about it. I more use this to just mark my spot as opposed to deterring anything from really digging. But yeah, I hope this was helpful to you. This will definitely help increase your soil fertility and your organic content, which is therefore going to increase your moisture holding capacity, and it's going to help your garden be more tolerant to drought conditions. So, well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching. Have a great day.